Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and today I have a flip through of this book. If it looks familiar to some of you, it's because I did a flip through of this book back in the day. But here's the deal. Earlier this week, this book sold, and tonight I am going to post it, and when it is gone, it is gone. So please indulge me in one last look. I'm going to go through the pages and talk about the collage and mixed media techniques that I've used throughout. If you like altered books, vintage books and paper and ephemera and journal arts, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and be sure and turn on the notifications. And you will have more of them in your life. Let's look at this book. This book started out life as a book of essays by Charles Lamb. I got it for 99p at my local secondhand bookstore. On the cover, I rough tore some handwritten legal document, and I pulled it across the whole thing to make a border. On that, I added this fragment of a postcard from 1905. And they are pretty gussied up for such little kids. But it's fun. And then on top of it all, I added this oversized flower. It's a redoute botanical print. I started off by adding the first layer, which is a book of math tables. And you can see the numbers underneath peeking out. I do love numbers in a background. Over here, I put down a corner of a fragment from a field guide to books. And over that, a couple of these birds. There's some more mark making here throughout. And then I hand painted this sunflower. And I've gone throughout to try to pick up those yellow colors so that the eye goes across both pages and sees it as one canvas. Here is a layout that started off with two different images from a magazine called The Girl's Own Paper, or The Girl's Own Annual. And I collect those. This is from around 1882-ish. And so I took this fragment that had the gorse with the bees, and I rough tore it and then glued it down to anchor this side of the page. She's from a different issue of the same magazine, and I just love how she's looking out totally unbothered by the bees. Maybe they're bothered by her. And then to add a little bit of color, I added some watercolor wash in this pink color. I know gorse is not pink. I don't care. And there's one little guy up here. She's also from The Girl's Own Paper. And I like the way she's looking. Usually I like my images to look into the page so that they're acting with each other. But in this case, there's something about the way that her posture is turned this way into the book. But of course, her gaze is looking outwards to something we can't see. But I'm very curious about what it is because she's very, very taken with it. So there's something going on. There's a little bit of story, a little bit of mystery. Here's another redoute flower. And I like the way that its posture is similar to her posture. They're both vertical and leaning to the left. The background here is just some stencil work using a stencil with an ink pad and a blending tool. This is a pocket over here on this side. And I did the stencil work in a contrasting color so that you can see where that pocket is. And inside is an altered identity card. Two more ladies. And in between, I cut a niche out here and added a piece of acetate. And on that acetate, I printed this wildflower. So now on either side, it contrasts and complements with the images on either side. But it's also its own page. By the way, I have several process videos showing how I made several of these layouts. For instance, this one and this one. And those are here on YouTube. It shows starting with a blank page, building it up layer by layer. And I'm going to link to those process videos for the layouts in this book in the text box below here. So if you want to go back and see how some of these were made, you'll just be able to click right on that. This is a fragment of a paper napkin. And you can see that when it's glued down, it's gone semi-translucent. So you can see the text peeking out below the flowers. I added a vintage butterfly. And over here is a curious kind of a card that I got at a vintage postcard show here in Swansea. It seems to me to have been handmade. It's two different birthday cards that have been glued into one. And then this silk fringe was added in between the layers. I added some handwritten text, and this bird, I like how he's looking over to what's going on this page, flower-wise and butterfly-wise. And I tried to pick colors that would pick up the yellow here and the yellow here. And that's why I've also added some sort of a goldenrod color mark making. Here is a gorgeous all black and white layout. These images, again, are from different issues of the Girl's Own Paper. The Girl's Own Paper was a magazine back in the day, and you would get a weekly issue, and it would have lots of flowers and landscapes and advice and just pretty pictures throughout and some very strange storytelling. And I collect them. They're all from different ones, so I've created my own little story here. She's plaiting some flowers. There's the bees again. There were plenty of bees to go around, so I thought I would just bring that theme out into the book. Is he a vole? He certainly is cute, and I gave him this perch to sit on by taking a handwritten piece of paper and rough tearing that. I put it a little bit lower than symmetrical, so it's kind of in a visual third here. But it also helps set off these images as well. Here are two vintage postcards that I turned into pockets. I just took a postcard and I glued this side, and this side, and left this side open. In here is a vintage French holy card. And also a little calling card, Charles Hallbecker. Mm-hmm. And over here is another postcard, and inside of it this is a calling card, and these were popular in the 19-teens. You would have these printed with your name in them, Gertrude M. Schwalm. And then you would exchange them with other people. So you'd have different patterns and styles, and you would just exchange them the way you would a business card. Here I have started with a background that I pulled across the whole layout of some wildflowers from a field guide. Over that is a fragment of a page of a cigarette card album. Cigarette cards were, back in the day, if you bought a packet of cigarettes, they would come with a collectible card in a series. It might be animals or boats or trains or celebrities, all kinds of series. And then you could collect them and you'd get this little album and glue them in. And these are some flowers. Over here, I put down, again, I rough tore a corner of these black and white flowers and put that here to anchor this page. Over here is an oversized, I don't know what it is, anemone? Help me out in the comments. On this side, I made another pocket by taking two thin sections and gluing them together here and here, and then this was cut on the diagonal. So I have a self-made pocket. This was a vintage leaf that I found in a very old book from like the 1890s. So it was well pressed. Surprised at how well it survived, but it was actually pretty strong, formidable. Must have been very thick in its former life. And I like making pockets like this because they makes the layout look strong this way, or you can bisect it. In this case, with this little card, Bon Fête, from 1935. And it's just a handwritten card. And finally, I have two postcards. This one I cut out. It had this basket of flowers on it, and I just cut everything off of the postcard that was not pocket-shaped with flowers. I added another butterfly to that, and inside the pocket are two tiny little cards that also have flowers on them. And that's a French holy card. Handwritten. While this chap, he looks a little bit like a gendarme, but he could be a soldier. I have a lot of these from World War I. French postcards from World War I. And this says une fleur, un baiser, which means one flower, one kiss. And again, I just like how the posies that he's holding mirror the colors in this one here, which draws the eye across. And I added him to an old cabinet photo cardboard backing. That is all for today. Please let me know if you have any questions or feedback in the comments below this video. YouTube will like me better if you do, and I do love to compare notes. Until next time, happy making.